In this video, we're gonna go over the practical part, hands-on practice on how to prepare data. So if you go under your unit, you should see a data set with CSV format. So try to download the data and open this data with Excel. So I'm gonna open it with, if it's not automatically opened with Excel, you just direct it to open with Excel. As we can see that this data is raw data. So when we talk about raw data, that means there is no table yet, and we learned that in CIS 243 and BDN 310. So first of all, you need to select this data to convert it into table to be able to work with it in a better way, to understand it in a better way. So after I select, I click table, and from there, yes, my table has a header. The header is the first row, as you can see here. So I would say yes. Otherwise, Excel is gonna create a new header. We'll say column 1, column 2, column 3. So we don't want to do that. So here's our data. Let me change the color a little bit so you can see it in a better way. Maximize it. So we have this data that Jerry collected through the survey about those customers who visited the firm website online. So those are the web-based customers type of information. Okay, the first attribute, gender. The second one, the race, and you can see the information provided in that specific column. So we have female, male as a gender. The race, we have African American, Hispanic, white, so nominal as well. This is a numerical type of birth year. Marital status, divorce, married and single. We have how many years of the internet, etc. As you can see, if you scroll, you will see we have about 15 type of attributes. So if you just add up those numbers, as you can see from here, if you click on the arrow, like I'm gonna click this to the end, as you can see here, you have about 15 attributes of information, 15 variables. So each one of those columns, we call them variables. In statistics, you call them independent variables or dependent, based on which one of those attributes you want to make it as a dependent variable. So you might want to create a regression model about seeing, for example, does race affect the number of years, does gender affect the number of years over the internet, or number of hours browse the internet per day, or the type of browser. This is type of statistical analysis hypothesis type that you can come up with. However, we are not doing that in this course. This is a data mining course, and I will introduce a new video for you to understand the differences between what is statistics and what is data mining, what type of questions you pose in statistics and what type of questions you pose in data mining, because we're going to go over some models that you already encountered in your statistic course. However, the way you use it in data mining is totally different, and you will use a totally different approach. So you need to know, after getting a couple of models, how different is data mining modeling than statistical modeling. Okay, so one rule of thumb that any statistician will tell you, that if you collected data about customers, and in our case here we have about 11 customers only, and in our case here we have 15 attributes, which is too many attributes for this small number of customers. The rule of thumb in any survey is the following: at minimum you need for each attribute, which is could be a question in that survey. So one of the questions was define your gender. Okay, second, third, fourth question would be how many years of internet usage. So that would be another question. So each one of those is answer of data collected for one question. So the rule of thumb is the following: for each question, or for each data points that you collected, a minimum of 10 entries are needed. Okay? That's a rule of thumb to any statistical analysis you have ever encountered in life, and it applies also to data mining modeling techniques. So in our case here, we have about 15 attributes, and to be really coming up with a proof, or with the conclusion, or with a statistical finding, you need at minimum 150 customers to answer this survey. So for each question, each variable, 10, 15 attributes, you need 150 entries or answers or customers to answer the survey, to come up with a conclusion saying, okay, I found out that the number of internet usage are higher for male than female. I cannot come up with that judgment with this more limited customers answering my survey. Okay. Nevertheless, the purpose of this project is to teach you how to prepare data, and not to question the data we have on hand. But just keep it in mind in future, if you are running your own project, or you were given a data in your company, make sure that this data has enough entries of data rows that the rule of thumb are considered to be able to come up with a conclusion. Okay, so I'm gonna save this data as an Excel data just to make my life easier. On desktop, I'm gonna create now a folder. As you remember in your RapidMiner video, I will name it BDN 4020. This is my first project here, repository. Okay, this is a folder. Inside this folder, I have this data prep, Jerry data prep. I'm gonna change it from okay, let's keep it as CSV. I'm gonna have two copies. One is CSV to show you how you can save it. Yes, you want to keep the formatting. Yes, I'm gonna also save it as an Excel. So save as the same location in Excel format. And I will tell you the differences between both. If I, after creating the table in Excel, if I close this Excel file, and if I did not save it in Excel, XLSX or Excel in general, and I only kept the CSV type of formatting, whatever I did on this table, like you saw how I did the table, this data row created a table, I will lose it. So let me show you what I mean. So if I went ahead and again opened the CSV, you will see it's back as a raw data. So this is the rule of thumb always, that if you have a data with extension of comma separated value, the CSV.CSV value, whatever type of changes you make to this data, you created a table, you filtered this table. Let's say you decided to delete this or to create a filter. Sorry, I'm gonna just select the male, for example, customers. Okay, and then I might select only the one that answered the survey here in this questions. Okay, so only I have those customers. Let's say this is my data and this is how I want it to be saved. If I save it in CSV format, see the message what it said, that you're gonna lose those changes. CSV does not save any information you or changes you made on inside Excel Microsoft. Keep this in mind. So that's why it's preferable to use the Excel extension. However, if in the future you are encountered with a data with CSV at work and you needed to work with it in RapidMiner, you need to know how to open that data in RapidMiner, and I'm gonna show you how to do that. So I'm gonna show you in both cases how to open the data. So don't save it. I don't need to save that, and I'm gonna close this window. Okay, so go ahead from your end, open RapidMiner, and I provided you in the lecture. Okay, again, just to remind you that the step-by-step information on how to follow with me in the steps of doing data preparation are available for you in the lecture of data preparation. So we are starting from this page number 4, and you need to follow with me this with my directions inside the printout. So print it out, have it handy, and follow the directions in that tutorial. So open your RapidMiner. So usually when you open RapidMiner, you get some welcome page. I'm gonna close it. I want the interface to be empty the way you see it over here. We are going to create a repository only in case you did not create it with the how to work with RapidMiner video. If you already have it available for you here, so you don't have to do that step one more time. All you have to do is downloading that data prep from Blackboard and putting it inside the folder that you created on desktop. Okay, so all you have to do, this folder BDN420, is to put the data prep and data prep Excel inside that folder to follow the directions I'm showing you here. Otherwise, if you haven't done that, if you didn't create that folder, go ahead, create it, and work with me now to create the pointer to that folder inside RapidMiner. So from the arrow over here, I'm gonna create my repository. It's a new repository. You can give it any alias. This is an alias. It doesn't have to be exactly the same name of that folder on desktop. It's just an alias name. So maybe I will name it data mining. Up to you. In your handout, I said go ahead, so you can see in page 5, create repository. I named it exactly the same in figure. Okay, which figure? In figure number 7. So BDN repository. I gave it the same name. So if you want to follow the same direction, doesn't matter really. Just let's do it so I don't confuse you. BDN 420 repository. Okay, and make sure to unselect this arrow and to click on the yellow folder, and then go to your desktop and find that folder we just created that has the data in it, and just click it. Make sure it's over here, and then click open and finish. The moment you do this, you should see the BDN 420 repository on the left side. Again, what we did so far is creating a pointer from our RapidMiner to that desktop folder, so we can work on project and save those projects inside that specific location. Now we're gonna bring the data. So we have two types of data that I'm gonna show you how you can deal with. Okay, uh, in your handouts, let's see, in your handouts, I brought, so we okay, that's it, we finished page 5, and I clicked on add data. So I'm gonna bring the Excel first, and then so I will follow the direction, then I will show you the CSV. So click on add data, my computer, last directory, and it's handy always to bookmark this. So as you can see over here, there is something called bookmark allocation, so always will be available for you in this area. So always you will see this star available in future. When you close RapidMiner tomorrow, you open it on your computer, you should see it, unless you are using an image desktop, one of the labs, or on mass media computer labs. So that will not say every time you shut down the computer you have to do that process again. Okay, so I'm telling that it's in this location. Here is my Excel file, data prep. I'm gonna say next. So we're gonna see the data. This is the same way we saw the data in Excel, very similar. It's telling me you have this amount of data. Next. Now it allows you to actually manipulate this data. RapidMiner is smart enough to recognize automatically the data types of your variables. So the variable one, gender, automatically it knew it's a nominal. The way I mentioned in my previous video that each software product, statistical software product like SPSS or SAS or this product RapidMiner, uses different terminology for identifying data types, but it's very close to what you know. So when it says polynomial, it means nominal. Okay, so I'm gonna click on this arrow to show you what other types we have. So we have binomial, which is our situation, male and female. Anyhow, is not gonna be different than polynomials. All you are saying that you have a polynomial with two categories. However, there is a real, which is, we didn't see that in our data types, which you can imagine what it is. It's a real number. It has it has an integer number. Then you have the fraction with it. So it's a real number. Integer is just an integer number. Date time, so you have that type, you have date alone, and you have time alone. Those are the types of data types that RapidMiner understand when you feed the data. Okay, good to know. So automatically it's smart enough to know that the gender is nominal and the race is nominal. The birth year, since it's only had one value, it didn't have like a specific date, it picked it as an integer. And it's okay, we're not gonna use this data in this example here. We're gonna ignore the date actually in the analysis. So it doesn't matter, but in future, if you really want the date to be considered as a date, then we have to do some type of preparation for that data. Assume you are doing some type of longitudinal type analysis or time series analysis where the time and date is important, then that should be a time date information that the model will understand it and will work accordingly. Okay, the marital status also nominal, so it recognized it. Years of internet integer, that's correct, which is considered as a ratio, equivalent to ratio to what we know. Nominal. So far everything we see here is correct. However, pay attention to the following. In Excel, the information that did not exist, the blanks, were named as blanks in Excel. However, in RapidMiner, when we have a data entry that was not provided with information, that data is symbolized with the question mark. So the question mark in RapidMiner means missing data. Very important to know that and to remember it. So as you can see here, we have all those missing data. However, in this type here, it's polynomial, but it didn't know that this is wrong entry. So we have to tell RapidMiner how to fix it. Okay. Uh, According to RapidMiner, it considered that Twitter is a nominal variable that has three different types of categories: Y, N, and 99. Okay, that's all it was considered for it. So for us, that's incorrect, and we have to fix the problem. We'll say next. Okay, it's correct. It's gonna be under this location, the data, and finish. Automatically, RapidMiner will show you the data, the results available for you on the right side. So if you can see it, this is the data that we brought into RapidMiner. Okay. Pay attention to the upper area. We're gonna use those two locations: design and result. Design, where you design your model, and the results, where you see the results of running the model. In the time being, we run the data, so that's why we see the data over here. And also remember, if the organization of the windows of RapidMiner doesn't look similar to mine, you can always go to the view and click on restore default view, and you should see it exactly the same. So keep that in mind. Okay, so all we did, we brought an Excel file into our repository. Now we're gonna start working with this data. So I'm gonna drag this data and drop it where it says drop here. So this is our data now. And if you are following the instruction given to you in this lecture, we are in page number 8. Okay. So I'm going to connect the output of this data to something called results over here. Okay, so here, let me maximize a little bit so I show you. So the output of this operator that's called the data, it says out. So this is the output of that link. And also this one here, let me maximize it for you, it's the result. So you are connecting the output of your data to the result to see the results. So all what we did so far is bringing a data and connecting the data to our results. Now in the upper level here, you have the play button, which means to run the program. Let me run it. All it does is what we have in this program is only a data. So what it did, it ran the output of that operator to the results and showed the results, which is the data we have over here. Okay, that's all we did. So next step, we should examine the statistics available in this data. Before doing so, I want to tell you that I don't like the way this operator called, so I can rename it. So right click and rename the operator. I'm gonna say Jerry survey dataset. So just to remind me what is this data is all about. Also, there is some notes, so I can write notes for this data. I would say this project is related to data preparation of Jerry survey. Okay, and that's it. So now I can have this notes the way I want it, and just to keep myself some track of the information I'm doing, so I will not forget next time I am looking at that project to remember what I really did in that project. So this is a very nice way to follow the steps. Also, I would like to save this project. So all we did so far, we worked the project, we worked the data, but we did not save our project. And as I mentioned before, project in RapidMiner is called a process. See the word over here, process. So we're gonna save the process, and to be able to save the process in the correct location, so you don't save it in other project you have maybe created in the past, you click on the main repository, okay, in this location, and then with your left mouse button, then with your right mouse button, you're gonna say, or you're gonna click on with the left button now, store process here. So again, you click first on the repository that you have all your project there, then with the right mouse click, you see the menu pop up, you select store process here, and you click your left mouse button to store. So I'm going to name this data preparation. And again, this is for you to know what the purpose of this process. So as you can see now, after I did that, I have a gear symbol over here called data preparation. So every project in RapidMiner will consist of data set and process, or multiple data sets and a process. And in future we might see multiple processes and multiple data sets. But in general, you will need at least a data set at minimum and a process. Okay, so now what we're gonna do, we're gonna run this data to look at the information available for us in this window. So on the left side, pay attention to the left side, we have the statistics. So this data, which each row consists of one customer and each column consists of one attribute, is summarized in RapidMiner, and you can see from upper level here, it says this example set has 11 examples. It means it has 11 rows, 11 cases, 11 customers answered the survey. It has 0 special attributes, and we're going to talk about special attributes in future. And we have 15 regular attributes. The 15 regular attributes are those gender, race, birth year, etc. Okay, so next step is to click on this. So this is where, because the data is selected, so you can see the data. Now let us click on the statistics. So statistics, it shows you information as if like it flipped the columns, became rows in this data. It's gonna give you information about each attributes of those 15 attributes we have in this data. So if you click on the first one, the gender, it's telling you the type of this attribute is nominal. There is 0 missing data, so pay attention, that column is about missing data. It has 0 missing data. It shows you the distribution about how many people were male, answered the survey, and how many were female. So that's a nice information, statistical. It's a histogram of that specific attribute or variable. And you can see here that since this is a nominal categorical value, you got 2 information here. The least, so the category that was female was 4 female answered the survey, so it was the lowest number of these categories, and most was male. So we had 7 male answering the survey and 4 female answering the survey. If you click more on the details, you can see the fraction as well. So this is like out of the total number, so it's of the customers answered the survey, you had 63% of them male and 36% female. So that's a good information as well. What else? If you click on the open chart, you should see it even in a better representation. And this chart, you can copy it actually. So you can take a screenshot and you can add it to your report in Microsoft Word, for example. One way to use this information. Now to go back to where we were, you just click back to the statistics. Okay, so this is about the gender. Gender, we have no issues with the gender. Race, again, similar. So we have also, it's a nominal. So if you click on the open data, as you can see, we have three categories here: white, Hispanic, and African Americans. The least customers answered the survey were Hispanics, and the most of them who answered the survey were white customers, so 5 of them. So let's go back to the statistics. So the most were the white and the least the Hispanic were 2. So again, this is categorical type of data, nominal type. That's the type of information you get from nominal data type. Now, about the year, the birth year, as I said, it's not really going to help us that much. So, because I would rather have this information. If I were Jerry, I would have asked the customer to write their age. So just so I can see the distribution of age. Of course, I can convert it into age, but in the time being, I don't like it in the way that it looks like here. Okay. Sorry, the results. So let's go back to the statistic. Marital status, we have, and also 0 missing data, so remember. Now for the marital status, also we have 3 categories here. We have years on the internet. That's good information. So let me open the chart. So we have the minimum was 2 years of use of the internet. The maximum, some of those were using the internet for the last 15 years. Okay, older customers. So this is good information to consider in case that's related to the business objective of Jerry, of course. Let's go back to the statistics. Since this is an integer, so remember from your stat or BTN 310, this information is a ratio type of data. So as you can see, now what we have here, we have the minimum value, we have the maximum, we have the average, and we have the standard deviation. So that's good. So we have some statistical information here to utilize. Hours per day using the internet as well as an integer, and you can see also it ranges between 1 to 6 hours, and we have the average. On average 3 hours our customers using the internet, and the standard deviation is 1.6, so the variance is not so big. So on average, if you want to see with a normal distribution with 1 standard deviation, about you have 4.5. 2 standard deviation, you multiply this by 2, so 3 on top of 3, almost you have 6. 3 standard deviation, a bigger variance, you get the population. Okay, preferred browsing internet, preferred browser to browse the internet. So we had most of the people using Firefox and just one Safari. So you have more Windows maybe customers than Mac customers, since Safari is only used on Mac. Again, you need more information. Maybe those users in Firefox were using also Mac, but they are using Firefox instead of Safari. Who knows? Preferred search engine, most of them using Google search engine, which makes sense. Preferred email, so we had a lot of customers using Yahoo. We have still Hotmail and we have Gmail. Okay, what else? Reading news, most of them. Okay, so we had yes, most of them reading news over the internet, which is good information. So maybe that company also will consider, if a lot of people really reading news over the internet, maybe they will do some type of advertisement over those type of internet channels, news channels for their firm. That could be a marketing campaign to be considered. Online shopping, as you can see here, yeah, we had more people doing online. Six and four said no. So that's positive information to be considered. Online gaming, most of them answered no. So the population that answered the survey, they do not really play that much games over the internet. Okay. Facebook, as you can see, most of them answered yes. So who knows? Maybe you will get their addresses and start advertising your firm, some type of promotion over Facebook, and start considering that part of your business plan. Twitter, most of them said no, so they are not a Twitter users. That's good to know. And finally, as I said, the loss information is not so useful because we had 7 out of those 11 customers did not answer. It's a missing data. So where are the problems in this data? We have this is the bigger problem, this is a bigger problem. We have to solve these type of information, and we're gonna see how we're gonna solve these informations. So let us go to page number 9, and we're gonna solve the first problem we have, which is the online gaming. So we have 3 customers did not answer that question. Okay. So if you look at the data over here, since this is a nominal type, categorical type of data, the rule of thumb for categorical data when you have a missing data is to substitute the missing data with the mode. So what is the mode in this data, which means what most of the people answered, what is the most frequent answer in this specific attribute? The most frequent was no. People were not using the online shopping. So one way okay, so there are many different ways to solve this problem. Okay, so we went back to the data, and let me go here, the online shopping. So the online gaming, as you can see, we have a 3. So let me just, if you click multiple time on the attributes, it's gonna sort it for you. So we have those 3 customers. So you're gonna consider different solutions based on the problem in hand. I have 11 customers answer the survey. 3 of them did not answer this question. So one way would be to delete those 3 customers from my survey, all their answers. Get rid of all these 3 attributes completely from my survey. I will end up in this way having only 8 customers in the survey. I already have really small amount of customers answering the survey. It's too risky to delete that percentage. If I had hundreds of customers answering the survey, you will consider deleting 10 to 20% as a rule of thumb is a good practice. However, here we are talking about you are going almost 30% of your customer, you're gonna get rid of them. So, and we already have a small data set. So the rule of thumb is to substitute those missing answers with the most common answers answered by the rest of the customers. And in our case here, most of the customers, the mode of this data is N. So pay attention. When you are dealing with nominal data, you will be looking for the mode as a substitution for missing data. However, if you are dealing with numerical type, ratio type, or interval type of data, integer data, real data, the rule of thumb is to substitute it with the mean. The mean will not skew the data that much in the integer or real type of data. Okay, so those are 2 rule of thumbs are really important: the mode for nominals and the mean for the ratio type or the integer real type of data types. Okay, So let us go back to, so we are going to start solving this problem. We're going to substitute and pay attention how the online gaming attribute is written. Very important, it's case sensitive. Online, O is capital, everything is lowercase, then underscore gaming also starts with a capital letter, and there is underscore between two letters, so that's really important. We're gonna go back to the design now and start working on this problem on hand. Okay, I'm gonna minimize the note a little bit, put it in this way. Okay, so if you are following the directions with me, we are going to use something called replace missing. So on the left side, so this is the repository. The lowercase are all the operators that come available for us from RapidMiner. I'm gonna just write replace. The moment you write replace, you can see it's like search engine start giving you some suggestions. And in our case, in that specific case, we're gonna use replace missing values. So I'm gonna drag this one and add it to I'm gonna drag this one and add it to the string. As you can see, when you hover on top of this purple lines get thicker, this is the term that you know is gonna link to it. Okay, otherwise if you are having problem doing that, you can do the following. Okay, so I'm gonna delete that operator. We were like this before I brought the operator. You can delete the operator by just bringing your mouse on top of the link, then bringing the replace missing value, drag and drop, and then connecting those, the output to the example and the example to the output. So the way you feel it's better for you, use it. However, make sure to put your mouse on top of the operator to make sure it's linked to the data, otherwise will give you an error. So what we are doing here, we are looking at a single attribute. Okay, that attribute is called online underscore gaming, so that's the attribute, and the value that we gonna substitute. Okay, so the operator is missing value, it knows now we gonna substitute that value with a specific value, and that value is the letter N. Again, so what we are saying, I have a nominal type of data called online gaming. I am gonna substitute the missing value in that attribute with the answer no. Okay, I'm gonna save, just click on save and run the process. Now what we see, as you can see here, okay, let's see what happened here. Yes, include, make sure also you say include special attribute. For some reason didn't check it at the beginning. Okay, so let's run. Online. Yes, it took it now. Online gaming, as you can see, it took it and put it on the end. It's not a special attribute, so I don't know why I didn't run it at the beginning, but it's okay. It's correct now. So the online gaming is was substituted. You can verify by clicking on statistics. Look at the online gaming. We have 0 missing data now. Okay, so let's go back here. So it's working perfectly fine. You really don't need to include special because this one is already it is already a regular type of attribute. So let me make sure. I'm gonna save and run again. Now it's running. For some reason it didn't run before. Let's see the results. Sometimes if something like this happen, try to in the result close all the information you have. So maybe I opened a different one. Just run and you should see the results now available for you, the online gaming. Okay, and usually whatever you run, even that the operator used to be in this area, whatever you apply, the last will come at the beginning of your table. Make it easier for you to find it. So So far we solve it's a partial solution. So if we go back to the statistic, now we have still to solve another three problems. So we had four problems. The online gaming was solved. Now we have a problem with reading the news, with online shopping, and the social other social network. Actually, we had another one, which is this one here, that it has invalid value. Okay, so we are done with page number 10. Let us go to what is called data reduction. Introduce a new concept in data reduction. Okay. Online shopping. Okay, so apparently, and let's just give me you the logic behind why we're gonna do data reduction. This is our data. Apparently, since the objective of Jerry is to track those internet customers and make sure to find those customers who are interested in purchasing products from the firm online, he will be highly likely interested by those customers who answered the question about online shopping during the survey with the answer yes. Okay, so in online shopping here, we have customers that answered it no, and some of them answered it with yes, and also we have a missing data. Okay, now for him this is a really critical question. He doesn't want to substitute the missing data with the mode, because he doesn't want to get wrong interpretation of that specific customer. And since he has only one customer who did not fill that entry, he's gonna get rid of him. Okay, so he would like so look at the statistic. He noticed that some customers answered the survey with yes, some of them answered with no, and he want to know, for example, who did answer yes and who did answer no. So those who answered with yes, he's happy because maybe they already even purchased from the firm products online. Now for those who said no, they don't, he might send them specific promotion coupons, 10% if you purchase from the firm online, to seduce them to start purchasing online. Okay, however, with the problem with one missing data, he doesn't want to risk it and assume that person, even that if the mode is yes, he doesn't want to substitute that person with yes. He would rather have just 10 customers answering the survey with correct entries, with answered entries, than skewing the data, adding the mode for the missing data. So how gonna we solve that problem? So this is another type of problem here, that what we really are looking for is to get rid of a data entry, a complete data entry. So what we are doing now is we want to get rid of that customer over here. Customer number 10, we don't want him. We want to take him out of our data completely. Okay? And that specific customer is the only one whose answer for the online shopping was missing. So we know who he is. So let us get rid of him. The way you do that is something called filter examples. So from the operator, I'm gonna start writing filter. And as you can see, you have different type of filtering. The one we're gonna use in this stage, filter examples, which means filter customers, equivalent to filter cases, filter rows. So it's exactly equivalent to any of those concepts. So I'm gonna drag it and try to link it to the stream of my data. Okay? And from the right side, so if you are following with me in page 12, I am gonna click on add filter. So what kind of filter I'm gonna add over here? I want I'm gonna use, okay, the online shopping, and if I would say filter if it's not missing. So let me explain this to you. The way RapidMiner works is the filter is not taking out the data from your stream, just the opposite. When you say bring me all the online shopping answers that are not missing, that means keep those. Okay, so only filter this information and keep them handy for me, and everything else, which is in our case the missing, just exclude them from the data. Okay, I'm gonna say okay, and let us save and run, and let's see what happened over here. Now, as you can see, we have only 10 customers, and the online shopping, we don't have any missing data. So that's how you get rid of complete example or entry or row or customer answer to that survey. Okay. Also, I show you a different way to do it in your handout. So let me also show you that way. So from here, there is something called attribute value filter. So I'm going to select this one, and if you hide advanced, show advanced, okay, let me see, show advanced here, invert filter, change compatibility. Let's see, if you don't see the rest, that means something is different in mine. Okay, so the way I show it to you on the handouts, okay, attribute value filter, you have to write here the name of that attribute, which is online. So many different ways to reach the same conclusion. You can write online, make sure the O is capital, and then underscore S is capital, shopping. You say equal dot, which means it's missing. Okay, this is the way you deal with nominal type of data. Yes, it's question mark. However, when you want RapidMiner to consider it as a value attribute, the dot means it's a missing value. Okay, let's run it. So this is another way to reach the same conclusion, and you will see that the same exactly result we got. Okay, 10 cases only, and the online shopping disappeared. Okay, so there are many different ways you can do exactly the same. I'm gonna maximize this area so you can see what I did. I picked the attribute value filter. I wrote online underscore shopping equal just dot, which means missing nominal value. Okay, it's handy to write those on the paper you have printed out, just to memorize this information. Okay, and again, as I said, this is exactly equivalent to the other type. If you find it easier, feel free to use the other one. So I'm gonna delete this just to show you what I did before. Okay, let me delete this just to repeat. Filter examples, what I did, I connected to the strings. I clicked on add filter. In that one, I went to online shopping. As you can see, it's drag and drop, so it's easier. And I said it's not missing, it's the ones gonna be filtered and stayed available in the stream. So when the values are not missing, if the online shopping answer as an attribute is not a missing data, keep it in the stream of data. So from here, everything is not missing is gonna go through the filter example and the result's gonna be outside. Okay, run, and you should see exactly the same values. Okay, and I'm gonna save. Now the next step we gonna handle in page 13, we're gonna handle inconsistent data. Remember the 99 we got in the Twitter field? Okay, so let us see the data again. Remember this value over here, this one here, we need to replace this one. And the question here, we don't have a lot of data, so we don't want to miss an complete information we have here only because that person wrote invalid information. What is the type of this variable? Is a nominal variable. So let's go back here. Okay, Twitter is a nominal value. What is the most frequent answer? What is the mode of this data? Is no, they don't use. So instead of the 99, we're gonna add n. So the data will be 8 answered like no, and just 2 answered as yes. Okay, that's how we're gonna replace the invalid data. Okay, so the way you do that is by using an operator called replace. Just write replace, and this is in page 13. Okay, under the values, just drag replace, only replace, and add it to your stream of data. And we don't want to replace everything. We're going to replace one single attribute, and that attribute is called to Twitter. And what you're going to replace it with, you're going to replace it with replace what you're going to replace, which one of those attributes is the number 99, and I'm going to replace it with the value n, which means no. Okay, and I'm going to save and run. Let's see the output. So if you go now to the Twitter became at the beginning. As I said, always when you do some type of replacement, it comes to the beginning of your data. The order of those doesn't matter. You always can drag and drop whatever you want here, just visualizing your data. So now, as you can see from the statistics, that we solved the Twitter missing data value. We have now 8 customers considered as answering the usage of Twitter as no to that answer, to that question, and only 2 they answered it to. However, out of those no, 7 were really answering the question, and 1 of them we substituted by the mode. Okay, now what else? The attribute reduction, and that's the concept I mentioned a little bit at the beginning. Assume that you want to come up with, now instead of looking at all those attributes we have here, the 15 attributes, I want to come up with a very simple analysis about the demographics of internet users that Jerry collected their answers. So only a demographic information. So I will only include maybe the birth year, gender, marital status, the race, and maybe perhaps the number of years using the internet. So I want, instead of those 15 attributes we have here, I will only use 5 of them. Okay, how can we do that? So I'm not deleting the information, I'm just gonna show part of them. To do that, there is something called select attributes. So just write select and drag it to your stream of data. Okay, and instead of all of them, you don't want to and again the concept of filter here, filter, it means keeping of data. The one you are filtered them, you want the one you are gonna see them in the results. So I'm gonna click and I'm gonna say I want subset of this data. Okay, select the attributes that I want them as a subset, and from here the birth year, as I said, only I want the demographic, the gender, marital status, maybe the race, and years on internet. Okay, apply. Only this information. I know already that those information do not have any missing data or any problems when I collected the data. I'm gonna run it. Now what you're gonna see, instead of those 15 attributes we saw before, we're gonna see only these information. Okay, a very simple gathering of demographic information. What I can do now, I can do some charting. As you can see here, we have the charts. So maybe I would like to see a scatter plot of, okay, or maybe even the histograms. Let's do the histograms of each one of those. You can start with that. You might want to consider the scatter plot of the gender with the years of the internet, or with the birth. Okay, so as you can see, the female, okay, let's say something more, the marital status and the years on the internet. Okay, just to give you some understanding of your data. And again, we have really small data, we cannot come up with that analysis. Let's big finding technically. Let's see, some bubbles would be more representative. Okay, years of the internet and the marital status. So the divorced people, it looks to me, they spend more hours on the internet than the ones that they are singles or married. Only we have one single here, outlier, spends a lot of time. Okay, but we had more people. We had like 4 people here, 2 male and 2 females spending more time on the internet. Okay, so that's type of analysis you can make. And again, we are just starting to do some type of analysis. Not very good data to start with. However, just to make our life easy and simple, we started with a very simple data, and we're gonna get more bigger data in near future to analyze. Now make sure you save the data. It's a good habit to start adding notes and to remind yourself, like I did in this yellow here. You might add a note here replacing value. What did you do really? So you might add a note to that one saying the online gaming, you took the mode of the missing, you substituted the missing data with the mode for the online gaming attribute. So just a type of archiving and getting, just to remind you what you did in this project. Okay, I'm not gonna waste more time in recording to show you, but it's good habit for you to do that. After finishing watching this video, you will have an assignment in Blackboard, so make sure to watch the video regarding the assignment.